no matter how small of a thing you do, or no matter whatever you do, if you're going to becoming a doctor, you want to be a content creator, you want to do something else, but don't let somebody else's following, their growth, their age define what you should do.
Created 100 plus marvelous campaigns for brands like Nike, Puma, Audi, Lay's, and the list literally goes on. And then building to his own startup, The Homegrown. This man has got life experiences, learnings, and insights from leading brands globally to winning awards like Forbes 30 Under 30 Asia 2017. Varun Patra, a man who believes in driving social change and shaping youth movements. Welcome, sir. We are honored to have you here at Apli community.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be part of this session. Thank you for the introduction. I didn't complete my college. I just want you all to know I left after the first year, but I'll speak about that later. But more than that, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be part of this experience. I'm looking forward to sharing and learning with you guys.
Thank you so much for joining in. So, without any further ado, let's start and dive into the discussion right away. Okay, so as we have seen, you have done your undergraduation in economics, explored different job roles ranging from social media manager, then creative strategist, and then starting your own entrepreneur journey. How did you discover your passion throughout the journey, and when did it stuck to you that this is what you want to do in life?
So it's been a little long, I would say. So I'm 33 right now. My professional career started when I was 21 officially, but I would say my time to understand what I really wanted to do started off from after school. Like I did my 10th. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. So I joined one college in commerce because that's all my percentage allowed me. I wasn't an exceptional student, I'm not going to lie. So I was studying, but I think at that time when I did my 11th and 12th and for first year senior college at 13th, I had a lot of other passions. What I mean is, unlike what y'all have now, more than a decade back, y'all didn't have options of different careers that you're so lucky in today's time to have so many options that you can only try to do this, right? While I did study, my passions were always a little bit outside. I'm not telling you all to do the same. I'm just giving you my journey. Was that I really like what was happening in internationally. What I mean by internationally was I was seeing how amazingly various global cities, countries were being able to present their youth with opportunities, bringing alive their culture in so many interesting ways. Whereas in India at that time, the standard was engineering, tech, and medicine, which was great, and we need that all across the world and still continue to. But there was a need for the creative expression of India, right? The only expression we saw at that time was Bollywood. I was excited to see what was happening in art, in music, in design, in fashion. And I was seeing this in different spaces. So what I did in my 11, 12, and 13 was actually start working at an events company where I could sell tickets for a New Year's party. That was my first chance. I got a chance to experience what communities, when they come together, what that felt like, which was an event. When I reached the 13th, which is when I was 18, I was confused on what I want to do next. I thought of doing law. I got the books for GLC, Government Law College in Mumbai, but I did study. I wanted to do car design because I really loved cars. I wanted to do production in film because I like film. But actually, one of my real passions was I used to go-kart and race when I was 15. I really wanted to be a Formula One driver, which I didn't realize what it took. So I used to race on the side. I used to do all of these things and do ads to make money, but I still wasn't sure what I wanted to do. So when I turned 20, there was this Volkswagen Racing Cup that just launched in India where you can participate to actually race in the country. So I went, I qualified, top 20, but at that time you needed 5 lakh rupees, which I had no money. In today's time, the value is 20 lakh rupees. My parents couldn't fund it. So my thing was, let me start working, I'll make the money and come back to racing. But then I had my guidance, which was my sister, who's now my business partner and the CEO at Homegrown. Varsha. She's always guided me on things. So when I turned 20, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, but I was loving what was happening on the internet at that time. This was about almost little more than a decade ago. Then the internet age of social media kicked off. Facebook, Twitter, there was no Instagram and stuff like that. There was Orkut just before that. And she told me you should get into this digital marketing space when she was studying in the States. So I decided that I'm going to leave college in the 13th because for me at that time, because of my mind going everywhere, I wanted something that didn't confine me in the way I thought, in the way I studied and what I wanted to learn. So I went and I joined one of the first digital agencies in India. At that time, I worked at a company first for 6 months where I got to learn the basics of what social media is, how brands are using Facebook in the early phases. They were building apps, they were talking by putting in posts. It is very early. So my first internship actually was me acting as a lady and my client was Parachute. I used to go to forums and actually type that Parachute is lovely. It helps me with my hair all over the world in all these forums. That was my first ever job. I'm very lucky I got to learn every aspect. Then the second aspect was there was a new client, which was Xbox at that time. They just launched with Microsoft. That was exciting, where I got to learn how brands are communicating, learning, and all of that. That was my very first phase. My second phase of my career, where I found my passions, was that this internet is really exciting. There's a lot of things that you can do here, but it's still at the very early phase. So then it came into, I worked at another agency, which was Jack in the Box, where I got to learn a lot during this time period. I worked at Jack in the Box and The Glitch, two of the leading agencies in India, where I've worked with incredible brands. Luckily, they've had clients like Red Bull, with Puma, Diesel, Jack and Jones, various others, where I got to learn that if you have an idea, you can bring it to life no matter what happens, right? And where we had a thought was, we had an idea of bringing the Formula One car to India and drive it in Ladakh at the Khardungla highest motoring road. Red Bull made it happen. We helped enable it. I got to learn marketing in experiential way, which means offline marketing. I got to learn how digital marketing with content and creatives work. That gave me a sense, essentially, during this time period of how the advertising world was working. But one thing that I always lacked was this. I had various ideas that I wanted to bring alive, which was like doing cool content, bringing together and doing a special initiative. But whenever I took that sometimes to my bosses, they would always be like, ye India mein nahi chalega. So that is the time when my life took a turn, which means it pissed me off because people always undermine what we can do as Indians, right? There was a perception that we are made up of 5 things: cricket, Bollywood, religion, politics, and celebrities. But we are so much more than that. We run the world of technology globally. From a Tesla, Facebook, Google, who runs it? Mainly Indians. That's one aspect. But then we realize that in art, in music, in design, in fashion, why are we behind? Why are the biggest films made in Goregaon by editors, but the people taking the awards at the Oscars are foreigners? Example, it made me realize that this was when my passion took a new turn. My marketing and learning skills and my need of wanting to bring communities together, and third, to put India on the map, is where I got to learn that there is a need for a space for more creative expression to thrive. This was way before a divine in today's time is listened to in New York, or designers like Anirudh Mehta's work is being put by Bill Gates Foundation in Dubai. And that's where my passion was. I also have ADHD. So like I've spoken a lot right now, what I'm trying to say is I got to learn my professional passions through the work I did. I got to learn my personal passions through side projects like working on events, doing warehouse parties, bringing together art events while my work is going on. And that's where I got to learn that India needs so many of these things because we like so many things. Why do people make us seem a certain way? And that's where I would say I got to learn about my passions, which were 3 things: bringing communities together, getting brands to power ideas that you think are not possible, and at the same time, bring change that the world should be inspired by India and not just for the things that are known for, right? So just a little bit about the beginning.
A true Indian spirit, I must say. And the way you did, you must have been a very good multitasker, where you have been, doing side projects and everything together. That's really cool, I feel. Which brings me to the thing that today's young generations want to bring change. They want to change the society. They want to change the perspective. But at an early age, they don't know where to start from and how to start from. So, any tips or tricks how you did it and how, as a young generation, we should start doing the things?
I think it's very simple. If you want to bring change, it's like, I'll give an example. We want to bring change in India, but we try to bring change in all across India in one go. Simple examples. If you want to bring change in societal thinking or do something different, remember we learned this in civic books in school. We're like, clean your own street, help the people nearest to you. That's all you need to do. What I mean by that is, if you want to bring change, start with yourself in the smallest of ways, right? But first, don't think about changing your full neighborhood. Think about changing your building. Think about changing your small communities. You start off in those ways. For me, what was the change I wanted to bring was that the events that took place in India were the exact same. So what did I try doing? We tried working with different types of musicians to bring those experiences in. When we did Homegrown, the point was what was lacking. The problem was lack of people creating dialogue around body positivity, about sex and sexuality, about the rights of people, no matter what their backgrounds are from. And we needed to speak about this, because if we don't speak about it, you will never be able to bring the change. The first part is education in a very small level. And that education can also happen at home. There are times when our parents' perspectives are very different to how we see things. So you might not be able to change their mindset, but can you help them educate about things that they don't know the same way you don't know certain things that they are aware, right? Just do something small. So it doesn't matter whatever it might be. It's like I'll give an example. Like a simple example. I see globally, and why I keep giving global examples, not because I'm inspired by the West or anything. I am always like, if it's happening there, why can't it happen here? It's not for any other reason. I'll give an example. Cities like Berlin, New York, London, etc., they are so incredible in giving back to the public and engaging with the public. Look at their gardens. They're so nice. People go and hang out on the summer. We don't utilize our gardens. We don't have those experiences because we don't have places to go hang out in India. Right? Because the police, parents, culture tells you cannot be doing it. But that's what we want. Why can't there be screenings in gardens, right? Why can't there be food courts available throughout the night and everything shuts by 10 o'clock? Why can't there be experiences where you have cultural districts that we have all over the world? You have so many districts that are called art districts, fashion districts, all of those. We have them here in every city, but we don't essentially bring it together. And that's how you bring change. Why I'm going to tell you is, I'm trying to do a small thing in Versova, which is where I stay. I can't change whole of Bombay, but at least where my biggest garden here is, I can bring people across all backgrounds. It is privileged people like me who stay in a house here, or they stay in the Koliwara. Why can't we just come together to watch a film together? Even if it is Andaz Apna Apna for that matter, right? We don't have those small things. So my point of giving you these examples is, you want to bring change, it starts with education. That can happen at home, it can happen in a building, it can happen in your friends, it can happen in a neighborhood. You want to create impact, find 5 people who think like you, get them together and create a small project that can bring this initiative in. Example, if your alleys are dirty, don't wait for somebody else to paint it. Get paints together and you all can actually paint the street yourself, even if it's a small 20 feet wall. That's what I mean about how you can bring change. Just do that much, because inspired by you, the next 20 will come, and the next 200 will come, and then there'll be 2,000 people. Don't try to get 2,000 people together. Just start with 2 and the job gets done.
Right, it's correctly said that the change begins with you, and the vision that you have, the visions of bringing the community together is something wonderful. It's something marvelous, and you actually truly inspire people to bring the change and bring everyone together. Which brings to my next question. The thing that astonishes me the most is how at an early age, when you were the third year student of college, you got the opportunity to work with big brands like Red Bull, Puma, Sony Music. So at an early age, how did you approach such big brands and start working for them?
So just one correction there. I was in my third year, I was 19. I started working at 21. I started working with these good brands by 22. One. But I can tell you one thing that helped me work there is that I'll give an example. When I was 9 years old, there used to be, you know how you have Just Dial right now, right? You can just call and get a number and details like that, right? Or you can go look on Google. I had won a Cartoon Network contest, okay, which was to go and get a chance to win a Dino bag from the Flintstones, but they didn't send it to me. So what I did was I found a contact of Cartoon Network. I called them up as a 9-year-old, be like, my gift hasn't come. They're like, wow, okay, they sent me a better gift. What I'm trying to say is, I always tried my luck by reaching out to people, even if they won't respond to me. And I did that from a very early age. That's the same thing that y'all can always do. The max they'll say is no, right? But there's no hard thing in not trying, right? I reached out to Eminem's manager when I was 15. I reached out to Metallica. I had no idea that you needed so much money to bring them down, but I just did it on MySpace. What I'm just trying to say is that don't ever, and now with thanks to LinkedIn, thanks to Instagram, even if it's the most famous person with the blue tick or whoever you might like to get advice or learn, or even reach out to for work or just speak to, give it a shot, right? You need to do the same, and it's easy. At that time, if there was MySpace, you now have 5 different things. How did I get a chance to work with these brands? I was lucky to work in some of the best agencies, to put myself in there, to get an opportunity. And once I was there, I tried to work. So one thing about digital and marketing and advertising agencies for years has been, they created division. They are like, aap creative mein ho, aap account management mein ho. You don't get strategy, you only get accounting, which is what we wanted to change with Homegrown. Everyone can think creatively. Everyone is a strategist. Everyone can learn analytic skills of accounting. So that means you must try to learn as many things that is possible of you, no matter what your age, but do not push yourself to learn too many things. And in the last few years, or rather last 2 years, y'all have seen, we are giving conversations and having panels with y'all, and y'all are learning from people like us, and we are learning from you online. You don't have to do this. You have so many courses. You can reach out, which is coming to, how did I get a chance? Reaching out, not trying, not thinking that it is not possible, and at least giving it a shot, right? Like, I still don't know a lot of things. I learn from my team as much as they learn from me. There are new things every day, which y'all also get a chance to do. So your age won't matter. Even if you're 35 and you haven't figured it out, no problem. If you're 18, don't worry. And one thing I'll just tell you is, you look, especially because you're maybe at this age where you're seeing every second person in today's time is a social media influencer, where they're becoming content creators. Don't let that become, while you want to do that, do it and do it on the side, but don't let that be the definition of success for you. Even if you're not done anything till now, don't worry. You'll do it over time. You'll take time to figure out things, but don't let what you see on your Instagram, on LinkedIn, and certain feeds define your worth, your work, whether you're personal or professional, because you have a lot of time. You can try something different. And one more last thing, don't copy and do the same if you see something on the internet. Take inspiration, but make it your own, no matter how small, right?
I think we all need that inspiration words, that if you still haven't figured out, because everyone is in confusion what you want to do, everyone is growing, how am I going to do this, how I'm going to approach this stage. I think this motivation is much needed to young generation, where they can chill and they can relax, that, oh, it's okay. You can do stuff when you're 30, you can do stuff when you're 40.
Yeah, and also just main thing is, at least make, like I'm saying, y'all are lucky now. Y'all have so many options. Like earlier, you didn't have options to be a gamer, be a designer, be a creative strategist. Like, you have so many options. At least start off with your 5 different passion points. Give a few things a shot, and thanks to your own company, you'll get access to so many different kinds of companies to work with, to interact with, and to do so much. So, I mean, the opportunities are insane, but keep in mind that this decade will actually be defined by each of you all. No matter how small of a thing you do, or no matter whatever you do. If you're becoming a doctor, you want to be a content creator, you want to do something else, but don't let somebody else's following, their growth, their age define what you should do. Even if somebody's doing better than you at 19, it's okay. If somebody's doing better than 35, everyone has different journey points. Never let that define you, ever. You'll have your time.
Right, right. Thank you for the inspiration words. Now I want to show a wonderful reel made by Varun and his team. I'll just show the reel just.
I didn't make it. I don't edit. I wish I do. But it's our team who's designed it. What you get to see is what Homegrown is and why we started it. And everything you see is all the content we made. Hamare events hai, hamare campaigns hai, sab kuch is what you see what Homegrown is, which is what India also today is. We're not just what you see on other platforms.
Right. I'll just share the reel.
Skinny boy, little boy, I'm a pretty boy. Always thought we need a miracle to go from cooking in the back of the class to making it last. But look at me now, I'm pretty visible. Don't name another with the flow so clinical. Talk about me like I'm oh so mythical. Check the birthday, we like to celebrate. Tequila, mix it with the lemonade. Yeah, I know you kill it with the mic, boy. But what you doing with your life, boy? Yeah, you always were a bright boy. I just wanna be polite, boy. Yeah, that shit to me is white noise. I've been feeling like a waterfall. What you wanna say, I want it all. Yeah, we ain't afraid of the heights. I've been looking down. The city showing me the lights as I look around. Iced out, all my dogs in the sun looking nice out. Yeah, everybody wanna talk on the nights out. We only party with the lights out. Iced out, everybody looking nice out. Yo. I don't need your advice. What is he know? Real life movie, I'm Pacino. Dark layer flow, I don't wanna be the hero. Lately, I've been feeling like I'm zero. Curry boy, I like jalapeno. Yeah, I like it. Pull up everywhere with my amigos. Yeah, now everybody watching me go. Going through the motions, I'm feeling emo. Yeah. These days, I've been feeling all of these ways. Call my daddy, told me, be safe. Yeah, you know that life is not a freeway. No. Yeah, these days, I've been feeling like I'm a waterfall. Yeah. What you wanna say, I want it all. Yeah, we ain't afraid of the heights. I've been looking down. The city showing me the lights as I look around. Iced out, all my dogs in the sun looking nice out. Yeah, now everybody wanna talk on the nights out. We only party with the lights out. Bring it back. Iced out, we looking nice out. Yeah, we gon' do it till it died down.
I must tell you, the video that you have made, it's so inspiring. It's very unique, and the thing, the homegrown that you are building is something very unique idea that is not seen anywhere. So I want to ask you, how did you get the idea of building the homegrown? How did you make sure that this is what you want to build? How did you just got the idea that this is what I want to build? And what were some, ups and downs in the challenges that what were the ups and downs that you faced during building homegrown?
Like I said, like when I was in my last agency, I would be suggesting ideas, and one of the bosses was like, no, it won't work. We can't tell this to the client. And I'm like, but it will work, and I kept getting shut down at times, and it was told like, it's not going to work. You're not getting it, etc. That was one of the reasons why, because I really believe strongly with my friend, my sister, at that time, that there was a need for this. There was this big movement taking place in India in 2013, 2014, which was a creative movement. You were seeing a lot happening in different spaces. There was art execution, there was music, there was fashion, there was a new voice of contemporary India. It was not the same. There was more fluid. People's identities were very different, unlike what it was before. People wanted to express themselves in a different way, but there was no place talking about this, right? The world perceived us as those 5 things I told you. We were kept on joked about for the elephants and all of those pieces, or whatever it might be. But what we wanted to essentially do was, we believed that there were a lot of communities in different creative spaces all across India, but they didn't have a platform to express. So we wanted to build this platform called Homegrown, where people can come and be discovered and also discovered at the same time, who can find people like them, who like things like them, who are excited about this new wave of contemporary India today, of how they express themselves, what they create, what they like, what they want to do, and what their vision of India is, and not what was defined by the past. So we build that as one space, as a community, which is the publication, where we speak and we drive conversation and we become a platform for people. But what we also realize is to change this movement or to drive it forward, we needed partners. And that's where we also work as an agency, an events company, and a creative network, where the business model essentially came from that, where we realized that brands want to reach out to this new community. They want to do new things than what was standardly always presented in the past of what marketing should be. Like you're seeing in today's time, every second campaign has the same influencer and creators, where it's the same thing. We wanted to change the way people perceived India. We wanted the Indians to understand that don't look for inspiration abroad, it's all over here. We see ourselves as a creative community online, where we educate people, where we connect people, but offline, when we do our events and activations and bring the communities together to actually meet each other, to interact, to work together, to collaborate, is where we create the impact, right? It's like you saying something online is educating, but then when you meet together is where the impact and the connections happen. That's where the thought of Homegrown came, to really connect the dots and represent this new wave of what India today is. And let that be from any background. So we were really lucky that when we started off, we were able to create some incredible content that you don't see in many platforms, and we still stand by that. Not because it's cool or it's a catchy headline and it is hot today. We've been speaking, driving, and connecting this thing since 2013. And you can go to our website and see that. Like, we talk about things that you should be speaking about India in, right? And also connecting and discovering other people.
Yeah, I think you are breaking the stigma. You are breaking the stigma that has been in India forever. And the step that you have taken is just amazing. Can you share some challenges and the ups and downs that you faced during building Homegrown?
I think it comes with anything that you do. There's always challenges in different forms. There are definitely, let's say, the standard things that you will always expect and has happened with us is we are still a self-funded company. We're independent. We have done it all by ourselves and grown it to the level we have with us, and also all our team members that have been part of it before, currently, over time, right? It's not possible without them to be where we are, because it can't just be the founders making everything happen. Challenges have come in different forms. It's been lack of where our competitors would be $5-10 million in funding 100 people teams. We are 10 to 15 to 20 to 30 people teams over time. And we are managing to do as much work. So that's one of the challenges. But then that's the thing, we've always seen quality over quantity. There have been challenges financially sometimes where cash flow doesn't happen, where you have to do something and you have to figure out those things. There have been challenges in personal realms where you can sometimes make a mistake that can have a serious impact in your professional environment, but you learn from them, you grow from them. There have been challenges in lots of other pieces also. There's something I want you to understand, that don't make your life around the work and the vision you have only. Like when I started Homegrown, I only did Homegrown, where I sometimes forgot myself and I forgot what I was. And that's something that we must always balance sometimes, the challenge of work and your own life sometimes, right? I learned that very late. I've been able to give in the perfect time and balance. Then there have been challenges and excitements of just sometimes just going through the next day, because there's so much that you think that you really want to not give up, but you're like, why are we doing this? But you still keep going because you know what vision you had in 2013, 2014, you will still continue going and doing, right? Some things take time. Like I said before, some person's journey is different from the other person. The same way company's journeys are different from the other. So we just have to keep doing what we do, and that keeps us going, right? You know, like when readers on our articles or in our Instagram DMs message us about how a piece of content makes them feel, that's what makes us drive forward. when we do events, when experiences and campaigns offline, when they tell us how much they loved it and it was so great to come in for something like this, they haven't seen anything like this. That's what keeps us going. Each of these things are challenging, and that itself is also another challenge, which means how do we keep getting better one above? So that's a mix of things. I can go into more detail, but it should cover a good amount.
Yes, I feel the experience and memories that you provide to people is be with them for the rest of the life. And the most, I would like to ask you that you have started another channel, that is another page, that is Local Constitutum, the social initiative. Can you elaborate on what you are planning to do on it and what are your future plans for that?
So one of the things that we realized is that exactly the first question you asked us was that how can you bring change in your community? So what we essentially wanted to do with this is I want to be able to take pilot projects and show them as sample initiatives to bring change in your community. And my community is not Bombay, it's not Andheri, it's just where I stay, it's called Versova. It's a mix of people with probably 20,000 people who stay here, which means almost 15 to 18,000 people of these are staying in the Koliwaras, right next to the beach. And then we have the remaining 3,000 that are privileged people like us who stay in houses like this. I wanted to essentially find projects that can drive different forms of change. Simple examples, initiatives that we're looking at developing. In public schools, we want to start doing creative learning programs, which means people can get a chance to learn on weekends, dance, art, graphic design, music, fashion design in public schools that they don't have access to with some of our network and famous creators. 2 is to work with brands to help power initiatives. This people in the Koliwaras, they love football. They live and breathe it more than cricket in every way. So why can't we get access to global football brands or even in Adidas in India to help us give them something back? If this is free training programs, if there's even giving them footballs, if it's jerseys, simple as that. We're looking at initiatives where we work with brand partners who want to give back in some way, right? Not like doing a cool event and stuff like that, but like showcase how public spaces can be utilized. I'll give an example. When we go abroad again, you have your Chinatowns where people go every night to go eat. We only go to our khao galis on religious days. We have the Koliwara Seafood Festival once a year. Why can't we have one alley which is available every second Thursday for people to come and eat fish on a regular basis, right? Could there be concerts taking place with both Malwani, Koli, Tamil, Gujarati, Islamic, all kinds of background people coming together to express themselves, and not just on religious moments, but on a weekly basis, right? So these are just examples of projects that we're looking at taking up. We're looking at brand partners that want to help support us on this. We're also looking at volunteers who want to work with us. So if anyone of y'all are in Bombay and stay in the suburbs, I will share details about us. If there's anyone who'd like to work on certain things, we'll reach out to you. And obviously you're open to reaching out to Homegrown also if it's exciting for you to work in and your background fits it.
I feel everyone here wants to work with you. You are such an amazing personality and the work that you are doing is just wonderful. And the future plans that you have is very, 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 very good. Like everyone wants to reach there, everyone wants to do that, and you are actually doing it. Thank you, Varun, for the insightful and the amazing session. Now we will take questions from the audience. People who want to ask questions can put it in the chat box. Okay, so the first question that Garima has asked is, according to your opinion, will pursuing masters or gaining some experience will help someone to change their field and pursue their passion?
I think first understand what are your different passions and what you strongly want to do, right? You could certainly have a stream that can help you bring multiple passions together. See, there is a creative passion, there is a professional passion, and there is something that you definitely in a space you want to be, right? So let's say you love music. Just you can't be a musician doesn't mean you can't get into music anymore. You can become an artist manager, you can work at a music label, you can work in technology, you can work in Spotify, you can work in so many ways, right? So understand what your areas of interest first are, depending on where you are. Try doing a mix of internships and working and jobs in these places. you can pursue your masters depending upon if that is something that you really want to do. And I would say it's important, but it's also not very important where you will confine yourself to doing one kind of thing. If that helps explain it in the best way possible, I would just say learn in whatever form it might be. If it is going and working with companies online or offline, do that. Give it as many opportunities. Don't keep switching first also. Like you can switch your streams, but don't keep, like one thing I've learned about younger people, they keep changing too fast. Don't do that, because if you're not going to give something time, you will not know that you were literally on the edge of learning more. So don't do that. But if you get a chance to pursue your masters or gain experience, it can come in different formats. What might work for you? You might think education going abroad or here helps. It could help you. You might think working in a place in a higher capacity where you can't do that. That can also help you. Take a decision at a later stage.
Okay, next question we have from Jay is, where do you take your inspiration for the campaigns that you run?
I think the inspiration comes from the Indian youth. So example, if there is a campaign come from Budweiser on doing something in music, our inspiration comes from what is lacking that the brand can help solve. They are like, there are two types of brands also. There are brands who want to ride on culture, and there's brands who want to drive on culture. Which what I'm trying to say is, because hip hop is cool after Gully Gang, everybody wants to do a jingle with a rap. But not many of the brands, or rather 95% of the brands, don't want to support the young kid sitting in Dharavi who actually wants to become a rapper. You do that and you support with a purpose, or you help them learn, you give them opportunities, your marketing is done, like what Red Bull has done, the best example. They don't have to put their product to sell you the product. They support your famous people who you are inspired by, you will automatically buy it, right? But at the same time, we are inspired also by what happens globally, but we always craft it locally. We always do something that works here. So if it's a Unilever that wants to do something around body positivity, we seek out people who are championing body positivity. We speak with them, we create content with them. We do an event where people get to interact and speak about it, like with nothing to worry about, to open platforms of conversation. We find ways of campaigns to give back in some ways. So it's one big example.
That's really inspiring, going local and having a vision of global. That's nice. So there's next question from user 529. You said self-funding. How that work for you, and can you share any details and experience about that?
I think it's as simple as this, where first of all, getting funding as same way for us getting Forbes 30 under 30 is no definition for your personal or professional journey. Do not let that define you. If you manage to do these things by yourself, how does it matter? So example, if there's a person who is doing as much impact as me and our team without the tagline of Forbes, why does that matter? Same way from a funding perspective, first, don't go asking somebody else for money first. Why is that important is, you create proof of concept. If there are two founders or one founder, you put in 1 lakh rupees, 50,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees, 10 lakhs, whatever you have, and give it a shot yourself. Show growth where you can make money back, where you can grow the community or product, whatever it might be, right? And don't worry about, I don't have this. We have never had the same amount of money our competitors have, ever, from the beginning to now. But we have still managed to do it and keep it going and that's why it's interesting, because people have had so much money and they have 100-member teams, but they still not might be able to do the things the Homegrown does, right? Same way you can do the same thing yourself, where you build and you showcase what you can do. It's as simple as this, right? Even when you're in school, you're in college, you're in life, दिखाओ तो क्या कर सकते हो पैसे के बिना या अपने आप पे, वो automatically then, because you will get that money and you don't have to give away stake in those things. Don't do that, because early on in a business or any initiative, why you're bringing in more people who have no understanding of things. Take money from your friends, your family, your people who are close to you, who believe in you. Let that trust go. And at the same time, if you fail, it's fine. It's, don't worry about that also, because sometimes we can miss out things, and as Homegrown, we have done a lot of things wrong where we can improve and do better. So don't again let that define you. If you've not been able to achieve, you have 100 more chances, right?
Right. The next question from Sufi is, there are different type of inspirational people, and if you want to work together, they have different perspective and they have their different thoughts. So how coordination and working together will help?
I think this is one thing that we have also faced, where when you start off as founders or partners in whatever journey, you have the same vision, but over time it might change. Which is why what's important is, one, first, you have partners, friends, family, or whoever you work with, that you have a clear little vision of what you want this thing to be. One. Two, you must be able to understand where both of you or more people have skill sets that are distinctive yours, which means that you can help me with this because I don't know it, in the same way I can help you with something you don't know. But at the same time, you must also have skill sets that are overlapping, because there are times when you need to help each other, right? So you need to be able to find what those are, see where you lack, where you can fill in those gaps. Two, find out areas that you can distinctively own. And third, I think you need to keep on a regular basis. Communication is the most important thing in maybe a personal relationship, whether it's family, friends, anyone, the same way it is in the professional environment. So you need to be able to be communicating to understand that you still share the same vision. Is this what's happening? Where can you help each other? You need to be there for each other. Where can there be areas you do other things? So inspiration can come from each other only, right? Hope I got to experience that. Explain that, sorry.
Yes, I think you explained it very well. The next question is from Sampath. As a fresher, we never get a chance to show our skill, especially when we are in a bachelor degree in 2021 in core team. So how to deal with the situation to overcome?
I think so. There is one piece. I am not very well versed with how the education system in today's time really is. So, which is one of the reasons why I left it, because I'm like, you're teaching me commerce or you're teaching me these things, but am I really going to implement all of it? What I'm trying to say over here is, if you get the chance, whatever your skills are, whether the stuff you're learning in school and college, you must try to showcase it in more ways than outside of college also, which means your internships or other opportunities for you to learn. It could be personal projects. Yes, it might be tough with the amount of things you have to study and you don't have time. But if you are stuck feeling like this, that the school is not giving you a chance to show it, or your 3 years tenure, then you must figure out how else can I do that? It's important for you to figure. So if you're studying a certain stream, find internships and programs and learnings that will help you bring that concept alive that you're learning in school. At the same time, find other things that interest you that also keep you going.
Okay, the next question that we have is it necessary to have a co-founder alongside for your entrepreneurial stint?
It's not necessary, but it's always preferable, more from a place where I think over time, I would definitely say that it would be better for me to have a partner to work with than to do it all by myself. I'm not saying I don't think it's compulsory. It's from person to person. It all depends on what you're trying to build, what skill sets you have, and what your vision of the project is, right? So there are certain things that I don't know that Varsha complements the same way the other way around, or previously with our other partner who was there before, right? So it's important for us to work in those perspectives.
Okay, the last question from Sai Krishna is, he want to speak, hang out, and be with entrepreneurs. How can I head towards it?
I think it's first the word entrepreneur. Also keep in mind, we all are, as Indians, we are all entrepreneurs in our own way. My mom is the Raste ka dosa wala. You guys, everyone are, because we have always been given things that we can maximize and do by ourselves. So how do you hang out? Learn from any person you can get to do, right? It could be the person who is even the pan patri wala. You might learn things that you might not know, because you get to understand how they feel, what they have to go through and what happens. At the same time, you can speak to founders on LinkedIn, on other areas, and wherever you can, and join those groups. But what I'll suggest is go into the streams that are interesting to you, which means if you like music or you like technology or you like edtech or you like fashion or you like D2C, whatever it might be, go into multiple groups and learn from different pieces, right? That's how is the best thing. Like that's the only way. And how you can reach out is exactly like I said, go to anyone online, ask someone for advice if they have 30 minutes, if they have 20 minutes. Don't only go to the ones that are famous. Find people across no matter whichever background they are and learn from them.
Okay, the last question. After this, we won't be taking any questions. Can you share how you and your co-founder complement each other?
It goes in different ways. Like let's say when you're starting off, I would have good insight into what was happening in the youth culture spaces till the age group of 25's interest. My partner Varsha, she knew what do people like between the 25 to 35 age group. My third partners to be there before came from an editorial and journalism background. So let's give an example. I came from marketing and I understand how to sell to brands. My partner before knew how to work with content, editorial. My sister, my other partner, knew how larger strategy works, how business ran. So we all kind of worked in those methods. But there were areas where we got to add on to each other too, right? I might have a vision, but Varsha helps put a structure to bring the vision to life at the right period. Like I might be excited in that 24 hours, like I want to start e-commerce. I want to put all brands. Varsha's like, Varun, calm down, we'll do it over time. And it has happened. Same way, everything that I've thought of has happened, but it's happened over time. And that's why you sometimes need a founder or a partner who you can bounce your ideas off, because they might see it from a different way where you might not see it, right? And it's always good to have that.
Right. Thank you, Varun, for explaining such question in detail in such a short span of time. I would request Jay to join in and give you a thank you speech.
Hey, good evening, Varun. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Throughout the 30 minutes, I was just awestruck. My mouth quite open. I was really happy I could be a part of this. In fact, I'm like nobody who could comment on how good you've been so far, because hats off to all the stints you've achieved so far. But definitely one thing which was very much good is to bring about change, you have to start right at your home, right at your building, and it then goes up, right? So Varun, thank you so much for being here today. As a community, we want more and more people to reach out to the best of the people in our society, in our country. And I believe this is the first session we've had, and I believe we've picked just the right person for the job. So yeah, thank you so much, Varun, for being here.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Seriously, it really means a lot. Thank you. Seriously, I felt excited to share, and I'm available for anyone on LinkedIn if you would like to reach out for help. I'm available for any other session if you need in the future. But more than anything else, thank you once again. And I just answered the Sufi's question. In a busy area where internships is better paid or unpaid, I think it is better if it's paid, even if it's a small amount. It's always just helpful, right? It could be like my first internship gave me 2,000 rupees, right? But it's fine. At least it gave something. It's preferable. It all depends on, or it also depends on you. If you are willing to do things in that way, but preferably, even if it is covering transport or some costs or some things, right? Even if it's your internet to sit at home and do it, right? That way. But Jay, thank you so much. Ritika, thank you so much. And thank you everyone from your team and whoever was here. Thank you so much. Have a nice evening.
We hope you had a good time. We absolutely did have a splendid time. Hope we were capable enough to harbor your potential here on the platform.
No, but thank you so much. It really means a lot. And yeah, thank you. Have a nice day. I'll keep you all updated about things that we're doing, if there are avenues for us to collaborate. And if any of the people who join in for the session, I'm available on LinkedIn for any help. Please feel free. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you so much, Varun. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you, Varun. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.